I remember the day I first realized that in this world, no one really sees you unless you make yourself impossible to ignore. I was just a girl from a small neighborhood, working behind the counter at a local bank, where everyone called me just a teller. A face to push papers and count coins, nothing more. They didn't see the fire burning inside me, the hunger for something bigger, something that would shake the ground beneath their comfort zones. I had those dreams locked deep in my chest, but I kept them hidden, afraid of what would happen if I dared to shine too bright. One afternoon, I was stacking cash when a wealthy client, an influential man from the city, began to mock me for my ambition, sneering that I'd never amount to anything but a little girl playing with numbers. That insult stung worse than I expected, but it also lit a spark I couldn't ignore. I decided then and there that I wouldn't be invisible forever. Over the years, I quietly studied everything: the markets, investments, the art of negotiation, learning in secret while everyone else thought I was just a simple teller. I knew I had to prove them wrong, especially those who looked down on my humble beginnings. I started small, secretly investing my savings into risky ventures, watching my money grow in ways no one believed possible from someone like me. But I didn't just want wealth. I wanted power, influence, respect. That's when I set my sights on the bank itself. I played the long game, slowly climbing the ladder, making allies in hidden corners, and watching the cracks in the system widen. I remember the night I outmaneuvered the senior executives with a strategy no one saw coming. I made a move so bold, so calculated, that they didn't even realize I was the one pulling the strings. When I finally sat in the office of the chief executive officer at just 35, it felt like stepping into a different world, one I had only dreamed of. But even then, I knew my journey was far from over. My secret wealth grew quietly. Backdoor deals, investments in startups no one dared touch, assets hidden from prying eyes, my empire built on shadows. I was finally at the top, yet the real battle had only just begun. Because the most dangerous betrayals come from those you trust most, and I learned that the hard way. I discovered that my closest confidant, someone I had mentored and believed in, had been secretly sabotaging my deals, leaking my plans to rivals, trying to bring me down from within. The betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss. It shattered my sense of security, my trust in the very people I thought had my back. But I refused to be broken. Instead, I turned her treachery into my weapon. I gathered every secret, every weakness she had exposed, and I outflanked her at her own game, buying her out quietly, making her sign her shares away in a deal she couldn't refuse. I remember the moment I saw her face when she realized she had been outplayed. The shock, the helplessness, as I took control of her stake in the very empire she tried to destroy. That day, I understood that revenge isn't about rage or destruction. It's about turning the pain into power, about rewriting the rules when everyone expects you to fall. I learned that justice served cold is the sweetest victory, because it's calculated, precise, and leaves no room for mercy. Now, I stand here not just as a woman who climbed from the bottom, but as a force no one can challenge. My story is about resilience, cunning, and the brutal beauty of turning betrayals into triumph. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. Because this is just the beginning. There are more battles to fight, more shadows to illuminate, and more victories waiting to be claimed by those brave enough to seize them.